What's good? What's good? How it goes, YouTube? Man, I didn't take a hiatus. Unfortunately, I had got sick, and I normally don't get sick, and this one has set me down. I'm still kind of having some of the residual effects, and nevertheless, I'm gonna get to it because I gotta get these stories cranked up and get out here in the metaverse, universe, whatever they call this thing, to make sure I get known to the rest of the YouTube world, because it's imperative to get these stories out, especially if you got something that's really worth talking about, not just to say something, but really to help out anyone. But I got a lot of different stories to tell. Some of this is gonna help me to just release things and talk about things that I've been holding in. Not that I'm gonna to bash or talk about any exes or any family members. That's not my intentions. If I have something that's on my heart pressing me, what I'll do is I'm gonna talk about it, but I'll make sure I will make y'all unaware, whether I'm talking about a cousin, sister, brother, friend. Y'all not gonna know, because I'm gonna twist it up so cold that yeah, only that person's gonna know that I'm talking directly to them. That's just how slick I've always been about it, because I've never been a gossiper. My mama told me at a young age, and I adhered to the message. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Now, if I got an issue with you, I'm talking about when I was really moving and grooving really bad, I'm gonna say what I gotta say to you. But I've never been that type to be behind your back talking about you to the next person, next family member, next friend. Never been me that I'm gonna be talking behind your back, because that's just not me. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about the story on today, and this is gonna take us back to 1987. No, 87 is when I got locked up. So it was 1988. I was on my way about to be out, and this is at the Griffin home, and this is I was going to a school that was on campus, as well as they would take us to, I forget what kind of renting school that it was, but they would take us to that school. But before I get too far into this, I do like to get my shout outs out the way, because it's important. I like to give props to those that either they encourage me to do this, or they help me get myself going in life, just watching them, or because I'm watching them now and I like what their content is and what they got to show and offer. And it definitely helps me. And like I said before, when I need to do my stroke exercises, sometimes them things will be boring. You don't want to do them, but you have to do them. So I use those as motivation, something to listen to, something to play to get my mind off of the exercises, because sometimes they hurt. Sometimes it's just a mental thing, but I really like to have something in my head that keeps me going. So with that being said, and that's why I need to get my microphones, because I can already tell that with my microphones, with my voice being low, I don't even think you can possibly even hear me right now. So, I mean, not hear me, but hear me as loud as I normally could be. But anyway, so let me get this out the way. Kev Mac videos, Stephen A. Smith, Nina Boy, Bosca 100, Joe T, C Bill, Cartoon 89 on Up Homie, Charlie Global, Real Kens TV, Jay Williams, Damian Porter, the Who's Who's, Jay Hood, who else is that? Street TV, Big Homie Blocks, and Xavier. I couldn't remember the homie's name. That's it, Big Homie Blocks. And I be trying to get them all out there when I get over here. I be forgetting. And the homie from the Legends, I think he's from the Legends. I believe he is. He Crip out of Inglewood. I really love his content. Oh yeah, I'm tripping. Stay out the way, Trey. Definitely somebody I listen to. Them bangers Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Definitely somebody else I listen to. And 16 to Life. There's more. I gotta just write them all down, but I like to give y'all your props because you definitely helped me, and I appreciate where you go and your inspiration, because I look back at certain things that I've heard over the last year and don't realize that some of you guys started 10 months ago and folks got 12,000. Now I understand their content's a lot different from mine because they're talking about the prison genre and what's going on there, and of course you're gonna get more people viewed in for that. So it kind of has me like, oh, they're ahead of me. When I really started and wanted to do this was like, well, when I really got about to do this about 2 years ago. And I was like, man, I can't be doing this out the truck because, you know, the living situation wasn't all that popping. I wasn't finna do it up in there, but because all the communication, interaction wasn't gonna be cool, folks talking behind you, and you can't just do what you want to do when you're up in somebody else's spot. So I was like, wait until I get back on my own feet and I'm in my own joint. Nevertheless, I could have did like Jay Williams used to do. That man owned property, but he did all of his content, majority of that I watched. Took me a while to pay attention to this, and that's why I'm glad I stopped smoking weed. And let me just be real with you, because it was good for the healing my body, but for my brain, it was taking me down a backwards road. Because this cat did all of his content. If I really think about it, and I haven't watched all his videos, the man got over 300,000 subscribers. And he's done majority, from what I've seen, I can't say majority, my bad. Rewind the tape. From what I've saw, he's done all of his videos out of his truck, period. So here I am, overthinking things and making life a lot harder for myself when I could have started a long time ago, just sitting in the truck with Max next to me. And I could have got Max on the joint. I could have did more content with my dog, because folks be into that, because some folks have just them and their dog. Man, I'm speaking all this because I'm really frustrated at myself, because a lot of things I could have done have been so far ahead, regardless of the stroke, because I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I could have been so far ahead had I not just, you know, did what I needed to do and not be worrying about if I'm gonna look a certain way, because appearances are really important to me. I want to make sure everything is right and this, that, and the third. Anyway, I'm learning, but I could have been out here doing things a long time ago and be probably at, who knows, 5,000 to 7,000 subscribers instead of what, 20. So that's on me. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you the story. I had this joint open because, being real, I gotta work on my memory, because I can tell you some stuff from way back when, but short term, like the things that I want to talk about right now and the people I want to talk about right now in this video, if I didn't write them down, then I'm gonna have a problem. So now that I wrote it down, I need to make sure I can glance at it and be like, okay, yeah, that's what else I needed to talk about with this particular situation. So this story is about when I was in a group home called the Griffin Home in Renton. I'm not sure if it's still up, and I need to go check and see if it is. Here I go with this checking. I'm so old school. I'm thinking about driving to the joint. Keep forgetting Google, man. All you have to do is type in stuff. I'll be acting too prehistoric. So I need to really check in, because that place is one of I've got some fond memories there, man. It has some cool white cats I was locked up with. Actually, dang, I gotta write this down, because, man, I got kicked out of that place with me and this white dude. And he was a nut. Man, I don't know dude's name. Can't remember his name for nothing. But man, that was a cool cat. I mean, he took it to the limit with me. When they started tripping, we rode anyway. I ain't gonna tell you the whole story, but I've had some situations at the Griffin home that was funny, and yeah, real interesting. But back to the story. So what used to take place is at the Griffin home, you would I forget how many rooms, probably like about 8, I think 8 to 12 rooms, and then there's some that have double beds and some have 4 beds in it, but at the most it's 4 beds in one room. But I believe as you move up in levels, you get to the double beds. I don't think it's a single room, maybe there was, but I know certain people that have their levels where they were, I forget the name of the levels. We'll just call it level 1, level 2. Well, level 1, these cats, not only do they have the double bed, they can also go down to the, what's that place called again? Coulon Park by themselves. They don't have to wait to go with the staff. They can just go by themselves. Because it's not like none of us are fenced in or locked in. We're at a group home where you can just walk off the joint. Ain't like they're going to come breaking after you. Hey, get there. It's just, yeah, well, let you do your thing, and before you know it, you'll be parked. But so that was how it worked if you got your levels right. So back to the place. It was a nice setting, man. They had this one staff, 2 of these particular staff. No, my bad. One staff worked with us, and then there was another staff. She just worked at night just to, make sure nobody was up and out of their beds doing mischief. But she would cook some of the bombest breakfast ever. That woman could cook. Not trying to put none on all different nationalities, but this white lady can cook. I mean, really throw down, because everybody's palate's different. And sometimes for us African folks, it's just different the way how our taste buds are. So some other folks, they may not have as much seasoning to their sauce like what we do. So it'd be tasting bland and not cool, but her, that woman could throw down. So, I almost said my counselor's name, but we'll call her D. D was a staff. Almost said dude's name. Jim, Rita, and I think there was like 3 more. I can't think of their names. And then you have the school staff, Mrs. Hill. I gotta say her, because I'm gonna tell y'all some stories about Patna. Yeah, if you come on here, you got something to say, that's cool. But man. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into all that right now. But she was one of the teachers up there. She would come down with our school stuff. Anyway, let me back to the story. So her and then the other lady, I cannot remember her name, but this person is the one who this particular story is all about. And we'll just call her name Rita. So I forget what had happened. I think what happened is because everyone else, we all used to go to these schools together, and for recreation or PE, whatever it's called, whatever they called it, we all had to go do our little things at the different schools. At this particular Renton school, and at first I have been going there for a minute, because I'll never forget. I met this cat named D'Amico. May he rest in peace right now. Either D'Amico or Dominique. I think his name was D'Amico. But this is pre-cripping, pre-blooding for both of us. But I met this guy. I'm gonna tell you guys about that later. But I met him up there when he was a younger guy, and it was his school that we were going to. And mind you, I'm 14. So we had been going to this school, and I think we had an issue up there. Not me and him, but we had an issue, and we just turned up real tough. And I believe he might have got suspended, but I got expelled from that school, where I could not go back to that school because I believe it was me, him, and maybe a couple more people. It was only black folks up there, and there's only a couple of us. Sometimes we just turn up just because any slight thing we take it the wrong way, period. So I forget the situation, but I do remember me and him really turning up, and we both ended up getting in trouble there. So cool cat. So they take me off of there, and so now I'm going to this school down, not school, but now I have to do schooling at the forgive me, y'all, I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to get me do schooling at the Griffin home. So this one particular lady that was a counselor, school teacher, whatever you want to call it, she was assigned to work with me. And man, she started working me out, having me doing these basketball drills. I'm saying this right now. At the beginning, I used to be so hot. I couldn't stand this stuff. But so her job was to make sure I had that full hour of PE. So this is how the program would run. Rita would have me get my calisthenics up. Okay, you got to do either a lap or 2 laps around this little field, and the field wasn't small. So I had to do the 2 laps around the field, and then we'd go start doing different recreations. Now, she had either been in a car accident or something had happened, but if I'm not mistaken, she had a limp. I'm almost sure of this. She had a limp, and she used to walk where she kind of drug her leg or moved her leg. But nevertheless, the woman was cold at what she was teaching. So her game plan, or her thing, was just teaching me different basketball drills. So here I am thinking I can hoop. And as she's teaching me different skills, she was like, wait a minute, Dorian, all you're using is your right hand. Because she would, even in her condition, would try to play some D on me. I'm not knowing if she used to hoop or what, but she had D, and she'd pick my pocket quick. Like, dude, you only using your right hand. So she said, this is what we're gonna do. I want you to start from this end of the basketball court to that end of the basketball court. And all Rita would have me do is dribble with my left hand. She said, I want you to just dribble with your left hand. That's it. And then I want you to start, so let me back up. So she's go up and down, and I'm getting hot because I can't stand this stuff. I'm like, man, how this woman trying to have me do this so, I was cussing back then, and I was like, a lot of vulgar language, but not at her, in my head, and just as I'm doing this, going up and down the court, got me doing this. Man, that think, if you think I am, I got to do this. So I'm hot, and so then after I did the up and down, bouncing with the left hand, she said, now what I want you to do is work on bouncing the ball, going up and down, and making sure that you're not looking down so that you can be able to see the defender and you can still be able to distribute the ball to your teammates without even missing a beat. So she was cold with it, how she was instructing me and training me, getting me ready, and I really appreciate that woman later in life. Not saying I became some hoop star, but it's just the principle of what she had taught me, how to use my left and not just my right, that I became so cold and so versatile because I could go from left to right without a problem, and I can look and see everyone that's coming. Not only did it help me, but later on in life, I was able to teach the kids that I was around, stepchildren, and all that. Even some of their basketball practices, I started working with some of them that my stepsons were on, and they would use it. But then when I wasn't around, I never forget, I'm riding up the street one day going past their school, and I look over, and we'll just call his name Ned. So I look over at the court, a little private school, and Ned, he's up there hooping and I know he's dominant right, but he's just going with it's just him with his left hand, and he's just going up and down to the hoop with his left. And man, I got the greatest joy just knowing that, man, the little things that I would be trying to teach him. And sometimes, we be rebellious and we don't want the person to see or think they're getting the credit. But when I'm not around, he was working on his left. And before you know it, we moved out of state. Oh, they said he became so raw. He's up there booming and everything. But the little things from what I had assisted him with and showed him that, hey, you got to be able to work on your non-dominant hand and be able to look and see your defenders. You got to practice this so you can be cold at this by just using your non-dominant hand. So I'm so thankful to you, Miss Rita, for the time you took out and how you practiced with me, even though you could see it in my face. And sometimes I may have said not vulgar things to you, but you probably heard it. You knew I was pissed. You knew I didn't want to do it. But I really love and appreciate the woman that you were, your character, and how you genuinely wanted to help me get to a better place at a young age in my life from where I was. Because you knew I was in an institution and I'm at a group home now. Not because I was a good guy, but I was out here kicking up dust. So I really want to thank you. That's not her name, of course. I hope that's not her name. Because to be honest with you, I can't remember her name. The other lady that I said, Miss, yeah, we got some stories to talk about. But Miss Rita, you were so nice and so cool and always kept it professional and may have taught me more things than that. I just can't remember anything else right now, but that stood out to me more than anything. So now that I mentioned and talked about her, I want to back up the tape. And I want to take you guys back to Naselle Youth Camp before I even got there. So while I'm at Naselle, there's more than probably 4 people that really made a big impression on me. But I'm going to start with a couple folks that back to the basketball thing. So we had a gym class that we used to go to and the Naselle Youth Camp was pretty big. Nice big gym, really nice. So we had our teacher, I can't remember his name. It's some people's name I can remember, like Mrs. Workala. Maybe because of her name, I remember her. But some of the things she taught me, you'll see why. But Mrs. Workala, and I think her name might have been Mr. Smith, or maybe that was the dean's name, because he was a good guy. I'm going to tell you guys about. But anyway, so he had started seeing how I was shooting. As a kid, we were so used to just taking the ball and shooting like this. And so he came up and said, like, no, Dorian, that's not how you shoot. When you take the ball, you're supposed to have the ball. And maybe I'm not doing it right now, but you're supposed to have the ball and you release it like that. He said, you're supposed to hold it and release it. And he said, you got to practice that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how does that work? I get more aim like that. He said, nah, but you're throwing the ball. When you do it like this, you have more grip, more control, and then you're shooting very accurately, and it's going to become a really nice shot if you work on it and practice it. And so in the mix of him doing that, other things are going on, and he's going off on this one cat. It seems like it never failed. This dude was into something. He was like, hey, stop that, Strasbourg. I mean, that's literally how this dude talked. And Strasbourg could be doing something in the gym. Man, I don't know what this dude could be doing. There was not that much stuff to mess with, but he's in there for every time we had gym. Strasbourg was doing something. He would never fail. Be like, hey, stop it. Get out of there. You know you're not supposed to do that, Strasbourg. I used to be falling out, rolling. I'm sure other people were, but I don't remember what everybody else was doing. I just know I was cracking up because the way how he talked And Strasbach was always kicking up dust, doing something. Cool white dude. Cool white dude. I mean, cool. Rocker, long, brownish like hair. Man, Strasbach was a rocker, bottom line. And he was with it. A heavy metalist, I don't know the real term. We called them rockers, but he could have been a heavy metalist, rocker, whatever you call it. But man, so he constantly worked on me, and before long, oh my goodness, I became lethal. And we used to have our little basketball things with family members. My cousin would be like, pass me the rock, because I've always been short. And as a young kid, I've always had good aim. And so I guess that aim came with this shooting thing. And I'll be hitting threes. Yak. Yeah, it just got lethal. So I really appreciate you. I think it's Mr. Smith for what you did, how you worked with me and took me from being just a kid that throw the ball to actually shooting the ball. Because, of course, that's something else I was able to pass on down. Because, the kids, they're going to do the same thing. So the kids that I knew that I was in the home with, I was able to work with them on this. But, of course, their teachers, their coaches did a lot more. I'm just saying the little bit that I was able to teach them goes a long way. But I would have never been able to do that if I did not take the time to have the patience, which I don't have very much of, or didn't have very much of, especially at 14, to just listen to this older white man, regardless of his color. Listen to him teach me something, because when you're used to the white man always locking you up, it's hard to listen to someone that's always popping you for something. Yeah, you were doing dirt, but sometimes you weren't doing nothing and you still got popped for something. So you never had that great relationship with a lot of Caucasian white males. So for this older male to come in and teach me what he taught me, I really appreciated and loved him for that. Now, on to Mrs. Workala. Man, look here. Remember, this is school time now at Naselle. And her class either was, I had 2 periods. And I believe one of them was science, and I definitely know one of them was health. Man, we used to be in there talking about different things, and no, I can't put her on that. I can't put that one out there, because that was personal. She shouldn't even told us that. So I'm definitely not going to tell the rest of the world something. But Mr. Workler reminded me of my grandma, literally. Short lady like my grandma, kind of thin, brunette hair, brunette or brownish hair, thin frame. And I think at the time, she was in her 50s, seriously. And I'm 14, so I'm 51 now. So that's kind of old, but when you're young, that's really old. But she used to be in there talking to us about everything in the human anatomy. That's how you say it. I mean, everything that had to do with the human insides, outside, she would be talking to us about it. She didn't told us situations that she didn't have with her own body, things that have taken place, things that she, and the reason why I say she reminded me of my grandma, she had no filter. And she would tell you her stories, even things about her own self without a problem. And we'd be sitting like, oh, are you serious? Like, he gonna tell that to the whole class? All these people around here? I'm looking around at other folks and like, did you hear that? Like, she had no filter. Man, look here. I tell you this, to this day, I know more about the female reproductive system, what's inside of them, more than I ever know about a man. Listen here, these things I'm about to say to you ain't because I went and looked it up and thought about it. This is stuff she taught me at 14. Fallopian tube, uterus, clitoris, anal canal, all these different things she was teaching us inside of the school. Ovaries. I mean, I couldn't believe it. But this is health. This is something that you have to learn in your health class in order to meet the requirements for you to pass that particular grade. Especially now when you're in high school now, you gotta, meet the credits, do this, do it, make sure you complete. It used to be bonkers being in there, man. Like how is what? Because when you're young and you ain't really been in school hearing this stuff, and now it gets thrown in your face, you're kind of like caught off guard. Like, oh, are you serious? You about to talk about this and that? And I've never been good with blood. That's why I couldn't stand no hospitals. Never been good with that. And man, she used to have me just cringing over there like, oh, this is just sick. But she was a good teacher and had no problem with helping us learn what we needed to learn about life. And yeah, I did have her for a science class because that class was really just flatline, just dead. There was nothing. That's how I used to get these things they call poor no pays or poor, because I've always been a class clown and gotta be running my mouth about something. And man, listen here, that class there, I used to kick it up major dust because I had to get the party jumping and keep it lively, because I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. I'm sitting there trying to do my work, but at the same time, it's just nothing going on. Man, it seemed like, I'm just being real, it seemed like the lights were off in there. It seemed like everything was dim. It just seemed dark in the science. Like, there was health live. She's talking, we get to ask questions, it's popping up. That science class, man, it was just super quiet. Yeah, you can still ask your questions, but it was just like, it wasn't that much interaction going on. It was just super dead. So yeah, I used to get these called porno pays and always be parked in my room. It was rare that I would be out of my room, out of my pod, with the rest of the folks that are locked up out there kicking it, because I used to get in trouble at school for talking. Ain't like I was getting to those scraps for talking. I didn't got into a scuffle with them, but I didn't got put in a box for that. But majority of the time I got in trouble running my mouth, talking too much when I should have been doing my work, period. The scraps I got into, them was all at the pod. I mean, in the camp, Mariner Lodge. But the school stuff, that's when I used to really get into my running mouth stuff. So anyway, enough for that. So there's two other people, Mr. Gregory, and I believe it was Dean Smith, because the doctor worked there too. But anyway, so Mr. Gregory, that was my counselor. Man, look here. Short, Caucasian dude, blonde hair. I'll put it to you like this. And this is what everybody called him. He looked like Chuck Norris. I kid you not. The dude looked like Chuck Norris, and everybody thought that. And his attitude was like a Chuck Norris. Let me tell you this. From the time I got there, people were found out he was my counselor, gave me the skinny on partner, how he gets it, what his get down was. Then as I got to being there doing my time, I come to find out that this man is really with it and had no problem letting you do your thing. For instance, if you and somebody else inside of the thing had a situation, he can't get in trouble for this. That place has been closed down and everything. But he was the type, instead of keeping commotion going on inside of the camp, inside of the lodge, he'd be like, this is what we gonna do. We're gonna take you guys behind the gym and y'all gonna scrap. I'm gonna sit here and check it out. When it's over, and we're going back and that's it. That's the kind of dude he was. Me and somebody, ain't gonna say who. He used to get on my nerves, and it didn't make no sense that this particular person will get on my nerves. I'm not gonna speak too much because folks will know what's up. And I came to him one day like, man, I think you ought to take me and pot him down there so we can get this in. He's like, do you really want to do that? Because of he was really talking to the situation, because he knew a lot more than I'm really saying to y'all right now. He's like, do you really want to do that? Go think about it and come talk to me in 3 days. And he was right. I really needed to think about it because I could have taken this situation way further than it needed to be based on me being mad about how someone's acting and talking when ain't nobody pressed up on me, put their hands on me, or just literally call me out. Like, yeah, boy, I'll be... None of that ever happened. It's just that I have a sick issue with feeling like I've been disrespected. Man, my brother used to put paws on me, beat the brakes off me, because I used to have a problem with if I felt slighted, I'm taking off, or for other stupid reasons, I would take off. And he had finished the job because I wasn't beating that dude. It is what it is. He's a big brother for a reason. And he really got them goals. So I thought about it and I'm glad I did. But man, Mr. Gregory was the coolest cat. And look, not only did he do that, this is what I'm talking about. Like, look, my bad. Not only, because see, I heard of him letting folks go get their scrap on. People were telling me this is how he got down. This what I'm about to tell you, I witnessed this because I was a part of this right here. Him and his staff, he had several other staff that were really cool that worked there. Mr. Z, anyway, Zimmerman, Kirk, Asto, and what's that other cat's name? Anyway, dark, they're all white. You had the glasses, bald head. No, he had a flat top. Flat top, sunroof. Oh man. Anyway, them names that come to me. They all played ping pong, especially Mr. Zimmerman. He was a ping pong player, and we used to have some days playing ping pong. That was Tate's, Tate D-Dub, that was his counselor, and Tate and him be having some games. Mr. Zimmerman be pushing the limit. Of course, he'd be winning some, but Tate was winning a gang of them because, yeah, we all had a cold ping pong game. But this is not it. They would set up the bull ring, literally. Who want to get their wrestle on? And we'll get away from the ping pong, and maybe they moved no, there was enough room for us. We would just get away from the pool table and the ping pong table that was in the middle of the lodge. And whoever wanted to wrestle, not no fight, not no, you I have an issue with you. No, because if you had an issue, he'd take you behind the shed or the gym and let you go really scrap. That's how he got down. But they would have whoever just wanted to wrestle, they would sit up, and Mr. Gregory be the one that put these joints on. My counselor was a rider, my type of guy. My counselor was a little rider, little short little dude, right? Like he was ready to scrap like Chuck Norris at all times. So he just had that mindset of, yeah, what's happening? So I never seen him get no issues with none of his people that was on his caseload, even myself. He was just that cool. Yeah, what's up? We can get it in. But nobody ever even approached him, to my knowledge, because you could tell by the things that he was set up that you better not run up on him, because you might put them paws on your jaws. But he was just really with it. So I never forget Tate and Wall. They got into oh my goodness. Man, look here. I'm not going to speak upon that because I just mentioned that man's government and I don't want no issues. But they wrestled, to say the least. And it was a good one. Not only did the homie Jazzy's and this other white dude, they wrestled. It was a good one. And those were the only two that I can remember. And then me and this white dude, we had wrestled. Now, I can't remember his name, but him and a partner of mine, got into it. Now, let me back it up here. Me and him had the wrestling match maybe weeks or even a month prior to him and a homeboy of mine getting into a full-out scrap inside of their pod. I forget what it's called. Yeah, I think it was pod. Because I was in pod 1, then there's pod 2, and my partner was in pod 3. And they got into a scrap, and I seen it from my pod. I go darting over there to go get in it. Oh, anyway, my bad. I'm going too far. So and I really apologize for that, because I can't stand listening to a lot of YouTubers that be telling you the whole story before they get the story. I want to be surprised. Don't just ruin it for me and then think you're going to go back and tell me it. So, but this is how it went down. Me and him, we're wrestling. Oh, this dude was strong. So, look here, man. Corn-fed. He's about 5'. I'd probably say 5'5". At that time, we weren't that old. We both were around the same height. He wasn't no big old cocky dude. He's a regular sized guy. But man had strength like an ox. And I couldn't do nothing with him. The white dude wrestled me down. I didn't get body slammed, and he didn't get body slammed. It was just when I tried to scoop him and get him, I couldn't scoop him like I was taught by the big homie Stacy Gosby from the Central. Teach you that scoop you. I couldn't do it to him. He just had that strength that he would always get up out of it. Maybe he had real wrestling skills. He would always get out of it. And then he would always end up getting me, not pinning me, but he'll get me down to the ground. And it was just like, I just couldn't do nothing with him. But that day he got into it with my partner. Man, look here. I went in that room, got to move him around like he was a feather. Now, to keep it a buck, it could be that he was like, wait a minute, it's 2 of them. Because as soon as I did get him up off of the partner, my partner, I didn't want my partner doing like that. I was just trying to get him out because, again, me and this dude was cool. I didn't say that before. But like I said, the wrestling thing, it was just who wants to wrestle. It wasn't like who got beef and wanted to wrestle, who wanted to wrestle. So me and him got in the ring because I'm not no scary guy. But he got me in the wrestling ring. But when it came down to him and my partner get into it, oh no. All the strength that was inside of me came out, and I had to get busy. But, man, them was the days, man, because it was so much fun even being locked up. And that's why I used to always tell folks, Samaritan Lodge, best lodge on campus. Because, yeah, we used to put it in. We beating everybody, football, basketball. Man, I can't say it, basketball and everything, but because they had some hoopers in different spots. But, we had the homie Sean. He hooped like Jordan. I mean, he was just without the dunks. He crossed you, come in, had this filthy layups, and he was just raw. So I just thought, I know he had tape. So I just thought we could beat anybody because we had the 2 beasts from the South end. So anyway, man, there was some cool times. And then last but not least, Dean Smith. This dude used to come. These were some of the days that I would get locked up. I think it was called, it was a pour no pay I got. What that means is you're in your room after school, all you come out for is dinner, you're back to your room, and you're not getting paid because you did so much dirt for wherever, whether you were on DNR, which is the working crew out there with the forest stuff, or you're working inside of the building as a building chief, which I was one, or you went to school and you got a poor no pay. We got paid $2 a day for going to school, and then $5 a day for being the building chief. And then I think it went in different ranges as DNR because they were, working to become like firefighters, I guess. So they were making decent money, and they were bringing in some bank. So anyway, they had parked me. I had to sit in the room. So this dude, man, come to my room, and each time I'd be sleeping, and I just hear, you know how the birds do that, like a chicken barking. he would do that, like, bark, 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 bark. And I'd be like, what is wrong with this dude? And then one day he finally just came out and just, Chicken George. I had no clue. Even though I had saw the show, I still had no clue because I was so young. You know, when you're young, you're watching a TV show and you're seeing these drastic events. From one, you're mad at all the stuff that's taking place with your folks, but you're not paying attention to the names. So the dude was calling me Chicken George off of Roots. And for some reason, he equated me, my spirit, because I was a laughing-go-lucky type of person. And that's how the image of Chicken George was. He was free, laughing, not free, meaning, you know what I'm talking about. That was his spirit. He was a happy person. He always joyful with his birds and kicking it, you know, until you mess with his birds. And for some reason, the dude just put me and them two together. So he used to just do that to me. But he was doing it, and I thought, just to be cool, pay homage. Anyway. So he was never seemed racist or nothing to me. He's always seemed like a cool guy. And he would just come in and check in with me because this is the dean of the entire institution. Why he had taken a liking for me wasn't on no gay tip, wasn't on no funny tip. I was told that they ended up shutting Naselle down. I hope and pray it wasn't be under his watch because it couldn't have been. I mean, he was older at that time when I was there, and that was back in the 80s. So I don't know when they, matter of fact, I know that I know things had changed because I went up there to go visit one of my cousins decades later with his mom, and it was still open. I had drove him down there because I wanted to go in there and really go like, dang, I'm going to the place I used to be locked up at. But the people I was looking for, because I even took one of my sweaters and asked them to give it to him. I think he might have still been working there, but I asked the people to give it to Mr. Gregory. It was the name of my company, and I just wanted to show him, like, look at where I came from. You know, now I own a business, and this is what I'm doing as my credit repair company. So I just wanted to show him one of his people that was under him turned out to do something right. So back to the story about him, though. His daughter worked there at night. She was going to college. Everybody used to be trying to get on her because she was fine. But he just seemed like a cool dude. And being the dean of the whole place, a lot of the other staff, they be walking around that mean mug. But him, you would think that this cat was dealing with all of these. You would think that he would be the one that has that mean look since he has to deal with the entire. But he was just a happy, cool, upbeat, man, jolly white dude, man, really cool. And for some reason, he took a liking for me getting parked in my room. He would have to come and check on me and be like, what's up, Dorian? What's going on now? Why are you in here? This, that, and the third. But he would always start with his bar, 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 his little chicken things. And he'd do the whole gimmick. And once I get up, if I'm asleep, and I turn over and look, he'd be, he did a whole little gimmick on me, and then we just started laughing and talking, and then we just kick it there for a minute. And man, it seemed like the coolest cat. Last thing I'll say is, the only time I've ever seen this man with a look of fright on his face was the day that I got this one particular letter. Man, look here. He came in my door, didn't do none of that. None of that. None of that. He just was like, Dorian, is everything okay? Now that I think about it, maybe because of him doing that, imitating the Chicken George and calling me Chicken George, maybe he thought that I took this as a racist thing that he had done. So I wrote some people and complained about it. You won't believe who I had wrote and who had wrote me back at 14 years old. Man, he was so spooked before he even handed me the letter. Because normally the mail's distributed by the people inside of your lodge, the staff, not the dean of the entire place. He's down there in the office, administration offices. I've been down there to his office. He's not coming up here to give out no mail. That piece of mail, he came in hand delivered to me and asked me questions, not like he was holding it or anything. He would just came in and he just started talking to me because he was spooked. Let's keep it a buck. Dorian, is there anything wrong? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Is there anything happened to you here, that you want to tell me about? Is there any reason why you got this letter coming here? I mean, what's happened? Tell me, because I thought everything was fine because me and him did have a very cool relationship. I thought everything was okay with you. So what's going on? I'm like, nah, nothing. I'm starting to laugh a bit. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Ain't nothing going on. I don't have no problem. He's like, well, because you got a letter from the White House. Say what? Look here, y'all. I forgot that I had wrote them people. I wrote them because I was spooked, because I found out Naselle, Washington youth camp, where we were located, was an old Air Force base. I was so spooked that if we got the kicking off war, that we might be one of the closest places that they directed their missiles to, and they hitting us first. Man, look, people don't understand. I have a cold mind since I was young. I may not be book smart, but I'm highly intelligent. Trust that. And I'll say American book smart, because I didn't go to school for a very long time. And then when I did go back to school, it was after I've been out for a while. So yeah, continuations of just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why my grammar, the way I speak, what I write out, that's why it's not at the par like it should be, because I was in and out of schools. Nevertheless, that's the reason why I got things like this, so that I can get myself up to par and I can have a better vocab and writing skills, the sources. I also got this thing called, it says that the vocabulary builder. Excuse me, because I know I need to get back on deck so I can really talk the right way. But I got to tell you, man, it has spooked me, because I was tripping like the White House wrote me. It was literally a letter from the President of America. It was Ronald Reagan wrote me back. It was 4 pages in there. Ronald Reagan wrote me back, and then he had 1 page was him writing me back and explaining to me the circumstances of my concern, or responding to the circumstances of my concern, letting me know, no, we're not going to war. These are just kind of formalities. We're having discussions with them, the Russians, about this, that, and the third. And then there was something, 4 other pages. I can't remember all that stuff, but I'm sure it was just stuff about the actual topics of the war, but what's really going on. And so I think that was right before the Berlin Wall came down. Anyway, the whole thing just had them on eggshells, because they were sitting there like, this little black boy at 14 got the White House to write him a letter? What in the hell are we doing up in this camp? They were spooked, because for him to send him, or for them to get the letter and pass it on him, because the mail just, and of course it comes through administration, so maybe it did start down there, but when they were going to disperse it, this goes to Eagle Lodge, these go to Mariner, these go to Mulak, and these go to Eagle, Mulak, Mariner, Cougar, and these go to Cougar Lodge. When that's how they're going to disperse them. But I'm sure when they were looking at that particular letter and that said White House, Pennsylvania Avenue, I believe that's it, Pennsylvania Road, 1600, I think that's it. Man, I know that got them people spooked, because I had been kicking up dust for one, and then I got this cat that's coming in my room making these bird sounds, acting like, and then calling me So maybe he was personally spooked, thinking, dang, because the first thing, did I do something wrong? Is everything okay here? No, but man, I'm telling you, man, I have had a very interesting life. Some things that have happened to me and people I've come across, and my life has been a trip. It really has been, but there's more to come. So I wanted to drop that one on you guys, and I'm going to talk about more stuff soon here. But I got to go feed my dog, my baby, and I got to get up for our appointment in the morning, take care of him. So anyway, like I say, man, this is my outro. We're not going to do no fussing, definitely not no cussing, and we can stop y'all from doing the busting. All I want to do with y'all out there is have an open, honest discussion. This has been the Chill, also known as Dorian. Have a good one. Y'all take care. Be blessed, and I'll be back at you.